You know that Matt Sparrow has the option for Game 3 between Sandalphon and Ghazal. Ghazal obviously didn't work out super well there. It's going to be on Plixkin to decide what he wants to do. And he's got the option of a Shum. I don't know what his other deck is. We're going to see momentarily. Do we know the other deck, Kinetic?
Here, let me look up the other deck. It'll take me a couple seconds.
He's going to look it up for us in the background. The fact that he has to look it up as opposed to know it off the top of his head probably means that Ashuma was the deck that he stuck with.
Let's see. Plixkin. Plixkin's other deck is Akani Academy. So.
Ooh, that'd be interesting to see an Academy control and control mirror match, but I don't know that we're necessarily going to get to see that. If you are Maz Sparrow, Tyrion, what deck would you choose for this third game?
I mean, personally, from my own experience in just playing in a few tournaments and around with some people, it seems like, and I don't like the stereotype, but people who play Ishima tend to rely a lot on Ishima. So, I mean, if he started with Ishima, went back to Ishima in Game 2 and lost, he's probably going to think it was a fluke or a bad hand, and not trying to say that it's the wrong choice, but generally, if someone's playing Ishima, it's because they believe in that deck, and they know that it can win against anything if it draws the right cards. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him stay with the exact same. Akane is a lot more difficult to play, and I don't really see a lot of positive value in that matchup against a Dark Ghazal. So, yeah, I'm expecting Ishima, but
what do you expect
we'll see.
Sparrow? Do you think he plays Ghazal again, or do you think he plays Sandalphon?
Right. MS Sparrow, I would definitely assume he goes for Dark Ghazal. Should be advantageous against Ishima, although I think that may be the wrong choice. I do think aggro Sandalphon is very strong against Ishima still, but regardless, it worked last time. If I'm expecting the exact same deck from my opponent, I stick with the same deck myself, and that's exactly what he does.
Is Ghazal against Ashuma? We see that Ashuma unfortunately had to go first, which I think is a huge disadvantage in this specific matchup. He does have double Dark Assassin in hand, but I mean, how much better would that have been had he got to do that on his first turn? And insult to injury is actually going to draw the Shark Guard the turn after he does nothing on one resource. His opponent, on the other hand, Matt Sparrow actually has a pretty clunky hand. He does have 3 early drops, but after that he's got 3 Soul Reavers, a Puppet Master, and I believe another 6-drop. What did he have? A Curse of the Netherworld maybe, but it's all spells, and it's very, very clunky. So it's entirely possible, especially if one of these Magic Channel guys gets picked off, that he's going to have a pretty slow start. Unfortunately, he's not able to do that here. All he's going to be able to do is do some damage to the Christmas edition of Wizard Tutor. But unfortunately, that's not enough to pick it off, and that's going to give him enough to at least go for a Soul Reaver here if he wants to do that. The first thing he's going to do is move his Evade guy. He is, in fact, on a Soul Reaver. Interestingly, he's going to do it on the Priestess instead of the Dark Assassin. Not sure how I feel about that. And looks like a much better hand this time for Plixkin. He's got quite a curve. He's got one of his unique creatures. He's got a Death Seeker and only 1 gold pile as opposed to 4.
Yeah, well, 1 gold pile is the perfect amount of gold piles to ever have at any time. And usually you only want them in the first 3 or so turns. So it's not probably going to play a huge role, but not having 3 of them is the most important thing here. Nyorai is huge, but having a good curve like this, it sort of actually plays into Ghazal's strengths. Like, the more single high-cost cards you play, the more devastating Puppet Masters and Enthralls are going to be.
I want to take the time. I am so glad that card was played. In my opinion, Jin Mentor is top 5 most underrated cards in the game. I think that Academy doesn't really have a deck where it's amazing right now, and Academy in general just is not that good right now. But Academy will get better as new cards come out. And that card in particular, I am telling you, mark my words, that card will be in the competitive scene in the future. That card will be a 3 or a 4 of in a serious deck in the future. That card is super underrated. The 7 toughness is huge. The fact that it flies is huge, and the ability is extremely relevant. I'm really, really glad Jin Mentor got played. It's going to be a big creature, too, for Ashuma to deal with. Like I said, 7 toughness is a lot. Ashuma, of course, making good plays here between his unique creature and his awesome outmaneuver ability. So, I mean, Ashuma's definitely ahead on the board. But big spells in hand for Maz Pharaoh. Certainly not a lost cause game by any means.
Yeah, Enlightened Owl, I really like your prediction there on Jin Mentor. I mean, you're absolutely right that unfortunately there's not a deck that it fits into well right now, but yeah, absolutely underappreciated cards like that exist all over the place, and I mean, part of that is just because some decks just don't have all the pieces to make certain styles work where a big creature like that might be effective, but yeah, I totally like where you're going with that. I love to see people make more use of these bigger Academy creatures. Hopefully with the next base set, there's some sort of infrastructure that can be set below those creatures that can help you progress to that stage where they actually become much more effective in the game.
That was a tough Puppet Master. I mean, Puppet Master in general is not a card that Ashuma's a happy camper to see. But taking a unique creature is even worse, and Ashuma, that's supposed to be the aggro deck in this matchup, finds itself losing 16-10 right now and behind on board. Maz Sparrow and his Ghazal deck looks like he made the right choice. He's in a really good position. Still has 3 Soul Reavers in hand and a Curse of the Netherworld. That's going to be pretty tough for Ashuma here. Ashuma just didn't get the start that he needed. It's super important in a lot of matchups, definitely including this one, for Ashuma to go second. And unfortunately, he did not manage to do that. Right now, I think he's in a pretty bad spot. He might have to activate Week of the Mercenaries here just to pick off his own guy. Otherwise, I think that card's going to be a real problem for him. And unfortunately, none of the creatures that he has right now are super relevant to the board.
Yep, and I mean, I don't want to come up with any arbitrary statistics here or anything, but just from my own experience, I know that if you're Ishima and you play Nayorai, it is going to get Puppet Mastered. Like, same thing with Raya. It's just inevitable. If you're playing against anyone with Dark Magic, whether it be Ghazal or a spell-based Adar Malik or anyone, you play those uniques, they're gone the next turn. And in these matchups specifically, you point out Ishima needs a fast start. Ishima's supposed to be winning the deck in maybe 5-6 turns, or sorry, winning the game in 5 or 6 turns, and instead there's almost a completely empty board, down to 5 health already, and I mean, believe it or not, there's actually still a chance for Ishima here, but yeah, the game, when you go first with Ishima and you have no play against a Dark Ghazal,
Right.
You are struggling the entire game to just keep creatures on the board.
I think Flickskin played that last turn perfectly, too. He did exactly what I would have done. Activate Week of the Mercenaries, play 2 guys. Like, just, Ghazal has a good matchup. He just had the cards. He had Curse of the Netherworld, and next turn, if he wants to Curse of the Netherworld again, using the Ghazal unique ability, he can. I think he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best play right now is to play a POW and a Wanazame. Probably play the POW in the top row, the Wanazame right below it to block that damage from the second row. Bring Ghazal down to 3 HP just so you can potentially win with a POW, although you're losing just right offhand to a Shadow Image. You're losing to a Soul Reaver.
You can't make that play because then the Ghazal deck will Puppet Master and take the Wanazame and simply kill him.
Yeah, you listen to Puppet Master. Like, there's so many outs for Ghazal that, yeah, it's almost an impossible situation.
Yeah, it's
maybe.
Cards. I mean, it's not even something he has to draw. We already know that it's there.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't really see a good way out of this. Killing a creature is certainly a good start. I think you have to because it takes 5 power off the board. I mean, Week of the Mercenaries might get flipped. Again, I think that turn was played absolutely perfectly by Flickskin. He did exactly what I would do. I think that was absolutely perfect. I just, the matchup is bad to the point where it doesn't even matter. He can win right now. He can Puppet Master the Wanazame, put it in the middle, and then Soul Reaver the other guy and attack for the win.
He doesn't have a Puppet Master, though. Oh, yeah, he can draw from the graveyard, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right, he wins if he sees it.
Yeah, I think that he will. Maz Sparrow is a very, very competent pilot. Granted, I haven't seen him. He's going to do something else. He's going to curse. Maybe he didn't see it. I'm talking him up, and he utterly fails for me. Nonetheless, I mean, he did miss the win there, but he's still in incredible shape. I'm having a hard time seeing how Ishuma manages to win this game, despite the fact that there was definitely a misplay there. I mean, he could, on this turn, because he didn't take any damage, he could play the Snow Maiden, pick off the Scholar, attack for 3, play the POW, attack for 3 more, play a DA, which is pretty much a chump blocker, and that gives him the out of randomly top decking a POW Deathseeker, which I think is probably the best out the Ishuma deck is going to have.
Yeah, Gustav is right that the Puppet Master wouldn't actually win the game. The Jin Mentor is still blocked by the Dune Prowler.
Oh, the Puppet Master takes the Wanazame, because the Puppet oh, right, because I'm being an idiot. I'm thinking, yeah, you have to pay for the Puppet Master. You can't just Soul Raver. Yeah, I'm being dumb. I was thinking it cost 1. You pay the 1 with Gazelle. That's not broken.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, I think his choice to do Curse of the Netherworld was totally fine.
Yep, nope, he's right. Whoever made that comment, you're correct. I appreciate that. And he doesn't go for POW. Maybe he's trying to surprise his opponent with double POW. That very well could be the case. Maybe he's trying to burst down Maz Sparrow out of nowhere. Is he going to go for... Yeah, he's going to go for Curse again, it looks like. And that's going to wipe all but 1 creature from the board. Now, granted, he can't block the Snow Maidens. This gives him an out. He could draw another POW here, or he could have flipped Week of the Mercenaries here. That was risky. A Week of the Mercenaries would have killed him, but he didn't flip it. So I think he's now forced to draw a card. I think you draw.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you miss, you play 2 guys. It is what it is. So yeah. That shows how resilient this deck is. Like, do you guys remember how behind Ishuma was? But yeah, all of a sudden he's right in this game. Ishuma very well could win this. This is still anybody's game. That POW is quite the threat at this point. There could even be a turn with double Week of the Mercenaries where POW kills him by himself.
Yeah, if this were me, I would play only that 1 Pearl Priestess as the blocker, and I would leave both the POW and the Coral Priestess in my hand right now. Well, I mean, I guess, no, you can just play the POW right now because you already have 2 outmaneuvers in your hand. So as long as the Snow Maiden or the Pearl Priestess stays alive, no matter what, you can move both creatures out of the way and win the game. So
I think you play something. I don't know which, but I think passing here is wrong. I think you definitely play something.
You might as well play the POW. I was thinking that you would withhold that, but there's really no point if you have the double outmaneuver.
Yeah, I don't know playing the POW. I think I'd play the Priestess. I like keeping the POW to potentially kill him with double Week of the Mercenaries.
Yeah, there is a chance the board could be completely wiped. A Soul Reaver and I guess a second Soul Reaver or Curse of the Netherworld and just an attack.
Yeah, like another Curse is a perfect example. Wow, he passes. He does nothing. That is interesting. We're not going to see double Week of the Mercenaries next turn because the event that got flipped this turn was Blind Arbiters. So we're not going to see a single POW doing the killing blow. He might draw another POW, and there's nothing that we can do to change that, but one of them is not going to be enough. He might play double Evade Guy here, which I think is fine. I think it's pretty important to gum up the board right now because we know there are POWs on the other side. I'm sure Maz Sparrow knows that too. Evade Guy, and then he's going to drop that Golem, which is going to prevent all those targeting spells that we know Ishuma doesn't have.
But it does prevent outmaneuver. They have to outmaneuver the Guardian Golem now.
And there is the MVP of the match. Top Deck's Gold Pile.
Always, without fail, you get the Gold Pile when you least need it. So he is again forced to draw here, I think.
Absolutely. Oh, you draw a card for sure.
Well, I mean, you still have 2 outmaneuvers, so he actually wins. He can... Oh, no, the Guardian Golem is in play now, so...
Yep, that's doing work, preventing
So he can outmaneuver the Guardian Golem into the Snow Maiden, attack it and kill it, play another outmaneuver, play a Gold Pile. Oh, Blind Arbiters is in play.
Wah, wah, wah.
So he's going to be 1 resource short and 1 card short. Like, if he could play 4 cards this turn, or if he had 1 more resource, he could win the game by killing off the Guardian Golem with Ishima's ability, and then playing the POW and the other outmaneuver.
Yep.
That's just the tragedy.
Yeah, he's probably thoroughly annoyed right now. I don't blame him. That's pretty rough. I would also find it ironic if the event that gets flipped on the next turn is a week of Mercenaries. Have the double week of Mercenaries in play. Oh man, rough beat for Ashuma. But he's played really, really well in this game, especially considering his underwhelming draw. He's handled himself really well under pressure. He's really gone into the think tank and made some good plays. I'm going to do a little bit of promotion for him. I don't know this guy at all, but if I were looking at players to potentially draft for my team, I like what I see for Plixskin. I very well might consider taking this guy. I feel like he's played very well. He's going to knock his opponent to 2 right here and simply cross his fingers that he doesn't die. If Ishuma sees another turn, he's in good shape to win this game.
Now imagine if he had just played the POW last turn. Also, we lost the stream of our video.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's still up on the stream though.
It's still on the stream. Just give me a second to get the viewer back. The end of the game, the rest of the people just saw Ashuma lost after I actually missed what happened because I was getting that random thing. But give me a moment, and I will have the stream back up to them. Let's see. All right.
Guys, assuming you guys can still hear us, here's the deal. We had a little issue at the end with TeamViewer, unfortunately. That's what we're using so we can all watch this at the same time and comment for it. We're going to get it fixed on Skype in a moment. But what happened apparently is that the Ashuma deck did manage to lose that. Gazal wins. Probably went with a removal spell and went into the killing blow. Remember, Ashuma was only at 5. That was a really close match. I thought the Ashuma player played really, really well. Just did not get the start that he needed. And Gazal, I guess, is pretty favored in the matchup. Once we get our technical issues sorted out, we're going to see a matchup that I personally am pretty excited about. It's going to be Ammar against Kelthor. And Kelthor's whatever. I love Kelthor, but we see a lot of it. Ammar, on the other hand, is a bit of a... I don't want to say suboptimal, just unusual, lesser played, an uncommon choice. And it's a deck that I find entertaining to watch. So I'm definitely looking forward to that once we have our technical issues sorted out. What did you think of that last game, Tyrion?
I think it was a great demonstration of both decks, the strengths and weaknesses of both. You can see that Ishima, one of the biggest weaknesses is that often on your turns you're like, well, I need to draw a card. If I draw the right card, I can win. And while that's like a huge weakness because you never know what you're going to draw, you might draw a gold pile. It seems like 99% of the time you need a clutch POW, you draw a gold pile. But at the same time, you see the excellent strengths of Ishima, which are just always having an option. Like, no matter how far behind you seem, you can draw the lucky 2 outmaneuvers in a row, force some damage through, and then all of a sudden you can surprise your opponent and just win out of seemingly nowhere. Meanwhile, you see Gazal, it's not like super effective with dealing with those super fast rush decks. Like, they don't have amazing board clear, but at the same time, that deck was 2-0 against Ishima. Like, Dark Magic in particular, I think, is effective against the Sanctuary because the creatures themselves just rely so much on their special abilities that by puppet mastering and shadow imaging, you gain access to everything that's good about those creatures. So ambush, outmaneuvers, Nyorai and Raya abilities. It's just... Yeah, Dark Magic, I think, is particularly effective against Sanctuary, and I don't know if necessarily those games are the best example, but I think Ishima played incredibly well for the cards that he was given, and I don't really think he could have done anything else to try to win those games. So hopefully
maybe that gives my claim some credibility when I said that Ghazal had the advantage in the matchup and some people disagreed. I mean, obviously, 2 games is a very small sample size, but regardless, my point, I'm still not convinced that Ishima has the advantage and normally would outrush Ghazal.
All right, guys, looks like we've sorted out our technical issues. We are moving on to that game that I told you about. It's going to be Amar against Kelthor. This is the Duel of Champions Team League presented by Kinetic 42, round of 64, and we are off to the races. The players here are Mielji on the left, 1524, obviously a competent pilot. Umbrella Spirit on the right, another 1500 player. This one I haven't actually heard of, but clearly if he's 1500 is at least a reasonable player. And it looks like a very hybrid version of Amar, able to activate Night of the Rising Moon at the first opportunity. He's got creatures, got spells, got fortune, clearly focused on removal. We see a Tsunami and a Crystal of Power in his hand. And nothing too unusual in the hand of the Kelthor player. He's got Moon Phoenix, which is a card that I think is incredibly good, incredibly underrated in general. We see a Sacrificial Altar and a War Tent, so he's playing Fortunes. He'll also be able to activate that Night of the Rising Moon. We see a Tower in hand, interestingly enough, for Amar. I think that particular Tower, it's not as bad as the Haven one, but certainly not played super often. And it looks like he's got quite the focus on spells in this game. He's discarding his unique creature to Night of the Rising Moon, just does not care about it. Cares more about building the board. He's even discarding a Stone Shield, so he's got to be pretty comfortable with his position as he drops a Scholar here to block the Magic Peddler. And yeah, both unique spells in the hand for Kelthor. He's got Forbidden Flame and the Song of the Lost. Certainly going to be able to do some very powerful things when those spells come into play. Again, I'm going to go to Tyrion with, what do you think of this matchup?
Honestly, I can't give a great perspective into what's going to happen. Obviously, Amar is playing a spell control deck. I think it should be semi-effective against Kelthor here. Obviously, all these 7 health creatures in Kelthor decks make spell control slightly problematic. At the same time, if he draws any Black Skull Crushers, that will be quite problematic for Amar to deal with as well. But on the other hand, I'm really interested to see how Amar plans on getting his damage through this game. I wonder if he's going to be taking advantage of Might of Nature and then maybe playing a couple big creatures. Yeah, I'm not really sure what his game plan is, but it will be interesting to see how Kelthor tries to keep creatures on the board if he can't draw Black Skull Crushers.
Yeah, that's certainly fair. Wow, both players have some unique spells in hand, 2 each as a matter of fact. The Tower and the newly drawn Strength of the Sea for Amar, versus, of course, the Forbidden Flame and the Song of the Lost for Kelthor. Week of Austerity is interesting, so that just further supports what I said. The Amar deck is more focused on spells than it is guys. It's still going to play creatures, of course, but cares more about spells. He goes for favorite spell to go for Earth Grasp, which right now doesn't seem like a big deal because Kelthor doesn't have any quick attack guys in his hand. But that's certainly not to say that he doesn't have them in his deck. And overall, I think the Kelthor hand is actually kind of underwhelming at this time. Song of the Lost, Sacrificial Altar, those are all fine cards, but they don't really do anything. Neither does Firebolt in this particular case. He's going to opt to make the most aggressive play that he can, which is playing the War Tent, attacking for 6, and then dropping another guy. Right, Tyrion? You with me, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. I mean, everything you said is totally relevant. I mean, it's like anytime you play Earth's Grasp, you should assume Kelthor has at least 1 quick attack. Usually he's going to have 2, whether it's 2 POW or a combination of POW and Shredders. It's almost a guarantee. So I think that's a great play, getting that Earth's Grasp out as early as possible, because the more cards you make dead in the deck of your opponent, the better off you'll be. The more options you'll have, the more time you'll have to get going whatever you're trying to do. And especially when you're taking this much damage early on already, like already down to 9 health. He's losing the Stone Shield. He doesn't have another one ready, but he is going to be able to clear the board. Or other than the War Elephant, of course. the Resilient War Olefin. As I mentioned, that 7 health is just 1 too high for the insect swarms.
The Harpy will be alive as well. Tsunami doesn't hit flyers.
Yep, Tsunami to get rid of the Olefant on the War Tent, but that leaves the Harpy, which is an acceptable loss, taking 2 damage. But with Zephyria, that's actually going to be 4, so a bit more unexpected damage taken to Ammar there. Probably not going to be too happy about that. And Zephyria creates another problem.
Yeah, unless he removes the Harpy right now, which he is going to do. He would just died of the Song of the Lost, but he wisely opts to remove the Harpy. So he's not dead on board. He's going to, I don't want to say stabilize, because I don't think he's exactly stable right now. But he's alive at 5, as opposed to what would have been a dead Ammar had he let the Harpy live. That turn's interesting. I think maybe he did not count on Week of Taxes there. I think he was planning on doing the exact play that he made and then playing Tainted Orc. I don't know that it was necessarily worthwhile to do it the way that he did it. Like I said, I think he was planning on playing another guy. I mean, Zephyria is still definitely a problem, but I'm not sure that I love having only the 1 threat on the board. Ammar is going to be drowning in cards soon. Just a matter of does he find a card to answer Zephyria. He does have the Stone Shield in play, so that's going to keep him alive for 1 more turn, but he doesn't have any great follow-up here. Goes for Insect Swarm to do 1 damage to Zephyria. That really does not seem worthwhile to me.
Yeah, I think part of that was just that he didn't have anything else to play, and he knows he has to get rid of that, otherwise he's screwed. But with this drop right there, the Black Skull Crusher, that's definitely not something he wants to see. He does have Altars of Shadow now, so that will be helpful, at least in allowing him to stall for 2 more turns. But definitely not wanting to see those Black Skull Crushers that soon.
We saw him draw an Observatory. I don't know that he's going to be able to dig anything relevant. Maybe he can get a Throne of Renewal. I don't think he's playing that. And even if so, he is still 2 Destiny away from it, so I don't know that's going to be super helpful. Between the Crushers and the Zephyria, I think Ammar is going to be hard-pressed to get out of this. He does have 3 Altars in hand and the ability to recycle them, so I think Ammar can certainly stall this game out for quite a while. But the part where I'm having a problem is, what does he do to actually remove those creatures? I'm not thinking of anything. I'm waiting. He's drawing a lot of cards.
I mean, 2 Crushers on the board.
And Zephyria.
And even the Tainted Orc is not something that's easy to deal with, other than through Tsunami, which doesn't kill anything else.
Yeah, the Strength of the Sea is going to get removed via the RFG. I doubt that super matters here with Kelthor not only at 11, but also very much in the driver's seat. That's Ice Arm. That's an interesting spell. Yeah, I mean, I think Ammar can drag this out for a little while, and also the Kelthor hit is really not that great. He's pretty much out of gas, and he's got 2 frontline creatures that he can't play. But I'm not convinced that he even needs to play anything else. What he has on board is enough. And yeah, Ammar is out of... Well, he was out of ways, but he finds the Stone Shield, and I mean, he's going to keep this going for a long time, because the Ammar unique ability is coming into play here, where every time he plays a spell, pretty much, but the first time, it's not old Ammar, but the first time he plays a spell on any given turn, he draws a card, and Ammar still has, I don't even want to count that, whatever that is, 11, 12, probably 12 cards in his hand, and it's only growing every turn, but I mean... I still am waiting for an answer from Tyrion, Kinetic, whatever. How do you remove the Crushers?
Yeah, only Throne would do that. There's really no answer for him. There's some sort of combo that he has in mind with seeing those Ice Armors there. I'm not sure if there's an OTK somewhere in there, if there's more like Icy Weapons or something. But as it stands right now, there's nothing he can do.
I mean, he can possibly drop creatures in front of the Crushers to maybe take them out physically, but I don't see where he can actually bring something to bear to make those Crushers scared.
Yeah, I think if he's going to win, he's going to have to stall out the Crushers and just somehow race the Kelthor deck, which that's not an easy thing to do, but Ammar has so much card advantage that if he's uber patient and uber safe, it maybe can be done.
And he keeps drawing more Altar of Shadows. He's got 2 favorite spells, so I think he's got 1 shield left in his deck. Oh wait, no, he just used the Cosmic Singularity, so he's got his entire deck again.
Yeah, he's probably going to go for Knight of the Rising Moon here. He can't play Altar because he's already played spells, so he's going to have to actually dig up a spell shield here, or he's in some trouble. However, he has the ability to do that thanks to favorite spell. We just got a quick glimpse at his library, and I did not see any permanent answer to Crusher, so if he's going to win this game, he's either going to mill the Kelthor deck, which will take absolutely forever, especially considering Singularity, or he's going to have to somehow race it.
Yeah, and it looks like Jin plus Ice Armor is sort of dealing with at least one of those, but they can just move out of the way. They don't have to attack. Not really that useful. I mean, if he keeps playing Stone Shields every turn, I don't know how long he can keep it up. He does have another Jin and another Ice Armor that he could put in front of the other Crusher.
Well, the thing with the Ice Armor is I think that blocks his own spell damage, so he's probably able to do some damage to Kelthor.
The way that he's going to try to win is he's going to clear the board over and over and over, attack, rinse and repeat, and just try to get the blows in with Jin. It might actually work. I think Ammar might actually win this game. I think he's going to be able to hold this off long enough to where he can crack through with the Jin. The problem is, once Kelthor catches on to this, what's to stop him from just throwing a Crusher in front of the Jin and being like, what's up?
Well, that only works for 1 turn. The Crusher can't return kill the Jin, or at least 1 Crusher can. He'd have to use 2.
But he has to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the Jin has magic resist on its own.
It's got Magic Guard now.
Magic Guard from the tower. He can play that Insect Swarm rounded down to 0, so he can keep Insect Swarming creatures away. But I mean, Kelthor's been having all of his creatures recycled every turn, so I don't see Kelthor running out of creatures anytime soon.
So everybody can follow. Do you have the ability to highlight Ice Armor so everybody knows what's going on?
Yeah, give me a second. Let me see if I can highlight it for us.
I want to show all the viewers here, because people are like, what is this fantastic, amazing card that is somehow keeping him in the game? And it's really not a fantastic, amazing card. That's not to say that it's a bad card, but like, the reason it's functioning the way that it is because it is part of a, I don't want to say combo, but it is synergistic with the other things that he's using here. See, here it is, guys.
It just gives +1 to attack and defense.
This is very important. It cannot be sacrificial altered. It cannot be, I mean, it can't be fireball directly, but you can fireball guys next to it. You can't do much of anything to it. You can't lightning strike it. So the whole point, you can remove it now, Kinetic, thank you. The whole point of the card is, in this case, he's going to abuse his own magic resist and magic guard with the tower so he can keep wiping it. And he's going to make it so his opponent can't remove it either. And it's actually working pretty well right now. He's at a point where 2 more attacks from that Jin and there's no more Kelthor. As weird as this Ammar deck is, it's actually really, really cool. And I think he's winning.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, he's taking damage. He is able to play Stone Shield every turn. I think drawing favorite spell as frequently as he has been an extremely lucky part of play so far. I mean, part of that is because he's been able to exploit Knight of the Rising Moon so often that he's just drawing so many cards. But like right now, he is out of Stone Shields. He can't draw one. He might have to play Altar of Shadows. Yeah, he does. Oh, he has a Stone Shield up still.
But
okay.
That actually works out for him because he's able to take out the Crusher without taking any retaliation or shot back damage.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he
no, I
has
think
drawn
like it.
another altar now.
Yeah, he can pick off the Crusher for free here. Pretty much, he
Hmm.
can just alter and prevent any consequences here, and down goes one Crusher. And I mean, that's without even considering that Amar has that many cards still in hand.
He's gonna have to
Yeah,
reset his deck again. He's almost out, but I think that maybe Kelthor has one more turn. If he doesn't put that Crusher in front of the Jin, Amar just draws any kind of complete destruction. He'd probably have to get Insect Swarm because the Tsunami won't do anything against the, the the Vulture there, and I don't think Clashing Tide hits Flyers. Does it?
I thought it did, but I'm not sure. That's a card I have minimal experience with. I thought it just went front row, back row, and did not care about whether something flies or not.
That might
But you
be.
might be right. I'm not sure.
In that case, I mean, Tsunami will take care of the big Oliphant there, but it's not going to get rid of the creature behind it. And I don't see anything he's got in his hand to do that right now.
Yeah,
Tsunami,
this is one of the most interesting matches that we've watched all day. I didn't know what to expect when I saw Amar because it's such a weird, unique deck with its own little niche. But I really like what I see. This is a very cool, innovative, really fun way to play this deck, and it looks like it's pretty effective too. It looks like a deck that I would like to be playing with in Swiss sometime soon. And it looks like he might win this game. I'm not seeing a great way out of this for Kelthor. He normally could just Song of the Lost and win here, but Ice Armor preventing those creatures from being targeted. And Sacrificial Altar, a second copy in his hand. I mean, yeah, it can remove this guy, I suppose. And removing the Jin is obviously super helpful, but there's still another Jin in play. And that's going to be an issue for Kelthor for sure.
and even if he got through all those creatures, he's got a Stone Shield up, so it's not like MR isn't even going to take damage.
Yeah, no, Amar has multiple layers to his defense, and yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm quite impressed with this Amar deck. There's another Crusher, so we know that there's at least 3 of them in the deck for the Kelthor player, Umbrella Spirit. But this very innovative Amar deck is doing its thing, and I think he's going to win, like I said. I don't know if this game is over, but Kelthor certainly does not seem to have the right tools to get through this unique and unexpected deck from ELG. There's a Crystal of Power. That's an interesting card. He's going to activate Knight of the Rising Moon first, as he should. Going to pitch Singularity, which of course is going to give him all those Stone Shields and whatever else back. He can activate Knight of the Rising Moon again. He's going to waste no time in doing so. What's he going to pitch? Going to pitch a Scholar. Seems fine. I don't know what he pitches. Campfire, and he actually fails to find a Spell Shield, but he still has a draw step. He can still play a spell to draw another spell. He still has Altar if he wants. He still has his other Stone Shield up. He's in really good shape, and he's going to get to attack here with 2 creatures, one of which has Area Blast and puts a crippling counter. He's actually going to pop his own Spell Shield there, so luckily he does manage to get that Altar in play. But nonetheless, the Altar is going to be enough because Kelthor doesn't have a way to remove it, and we're back to where we started with Amar digging for a Stone Shield to continue abusing this loop.
Yeah, definitely points for creating something that was very, very creative. Like, this combo is not something that seems that obvious. I don't think I've ever seen it before, but it's not particularly complex either. It's just using a Jin with magic resist, stalling the game out to the point where you can put Ice Armor on it so it doesn't get blown away by any single target spell, and insect swarming and stone shielding until you slowly poke them down. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a spell control deck from the very beginning. It was just a question of how he was going to get that damage through, and it looks like the answer of how is just very, very slowly by trying to kill everything on the board. And I think something Black Skull Crusher are 2 of the things that slow this deck down the most, but regardless, it's still somehow working, and I find that quite amazing.
Well, here he does not have a Stone Shield, but he's got a favorite spell, which is just as good. He's going to be able to tutor it up right here, and once again, going to be able to take out a Crusher. So he's gone through 2 Crushers. He gets the War Tent with it, which is insult to injury. And we know there is the one Crusher still alive up top, and there could be other Crushers coming because of Singularity shuffling stuff in. But overall, the Amar deck has really controlled this game in a big way. I'm trying to think, we were talking about the Amar outs earlier. What are the Kelthor outs at this point?
The biggest Kelthor out that I see right now is that Mielji has run out of Stone Shields in his deck currently, so he can't favorite spell another Stone Shield. If he can get rid of the current Stone Shield, block the damage again, then he has a chance.
I mean, I think we've got to look for Kelthor to pop a Price of the Void at this point. I mean, he needs to get 2 damage, so he needs a quick attack. Yeah.
I don't know if in game 1 he's gonna have the Price of the Void. We'll definitely talk about sideboarding when we get to that point. That's gonna be a whole different thing. But I don't know if he has that for game 1. We've seen a lot of his deck throughout the game. They're 23 turns in. So I'm pretty confident he doesn't have that in the main deck. Maybe he just has 1 that he hasn't drawn yet, but I'm really not thinking so. That Stone Shield finally gonna get popped. I mean, I guess the way out for Kelthor is to just use Week of the Nethermancer and just get rid of all the Stone Shields and prevent this loop from continuing. Like Tyrion pointed out, favorite spell is in hand, but it will not get a Stone Shield here. So he's going to have to find another option. He could just draw a card and go for Alter. I think that's totally fine. This has been one of the best, craziest, closest games that I've cast all day. This one's been a blast. And 23 turns in, I'm still not sure who's going to win. Favorite spell for Insect Swarm. That, I don't know if it's going to be enough. There is a big tsunami, but it leaves quite a bit of stuff still on the board. Crystal Power comes down, followed by Insect Swarm, and there is the killing blow finally. On turn 23. Mielji, with his incredibly creative Amar deck, is going to take this one down. This is game 1 against Umbrella Spirit. I cannot wait to see games 2 and possibly game 3.
And I hate to say this, but that's the only game of that we have, unfortunately. So
wow, Kinetic is the worst. Do you guys hear that?
That being said, I have another game with, I think, the highest person with the person with the highest ELO in the tournament versus the person with the lowest ELO in the tournament. So that's the game we're going to play. I think it's Dias. He's got 1602.
That is very, very high.
All right, so let me pull up that game. Bring it back to you guys.
Hey, Kinetic, what's your ELO?
My max ELO or my current ELO?
Look at him try to defend himself in his 1200 prowess.
All I'm saying is that there's a lot of 1500 players who are just very lucky that you can't go below 1500. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. I'll agree with that.
But I've gotten up to 1450 and then just got right now around 12 something. So
1240.
Yeah, thanks.
Forever 1200.
Oh god, next game's coming up. You wanted some more interesting Kelthor games? Here's Aliyah.
Here we go, guys. It's going to be Aliyah, whatever you want to call it. It is Necro MK 1188 on the left, which is, whatever, average-ish. But his opponent, DS 1078, 1602. That is one hell of a rating, higher than this owl has ever been. Certainly got big respect for that, and he's playing one of my favorite decks, Kelthor, which, that's one of my favorite things about Kelthor. It's played and it's good at every elo. You could play it below 1000, you could play it in the 1200 range, and as he's demonstrating here, you can play it effectively at 1602, which is crazy. In general, this matchup really depends on what the Aliyah build is. I've seen a crazy Aliyah Mass Rage deck lately. I don't think this is that deck. He's got Crusaders, he's got Fireballs. This actually reminds me of a lot of a deck that I suggested on the forums a month or two back. I think it's cool. I think it is an alternative way to play Haven, a nice aggressive deck. I think it's fun. I don't know that it's necessarily tier 1, but it's probably tier 2. And we'll see how he manages to fare against this obviously very competent Kelthor player.
Yeah, so it's interesting that they're there's so many different things that Kelthor has against every different matchup, and most of that comes down to Forbidden Flame against rush decks, and then Blackskull Crusher against any sort of spell decks. So, like, unfortunately, what you don't see there is an answer to fortune-based decks, but right here we see a creature spell deck. So basically, something that in essence plays very similarly to how Kelthor plays, although it lacks some of those crucial tools like the Blackskull Crusher. But I like her in this matchup, not as a favorite, but definitely as a contender. This is a matchup that can go either way based on what they draw. It's not necessarily a mirror match, but it's a very enjoyable match, I think, for Alia, as long as Kelthor doesn't draw 3 or 4 Blackskull Crushers.
I've got to admit, I've got the built-in bias that I bet a lot of our viewers have as well. It's just, I mean, regardless of how this matchup actually is, I just have such a hard time predicting that an 1188 player could really beat a 1602 player in a best 2 out of 3 series. I mean, can it happen? Sure. Have I, myself, at 1550, 1560, lost to 1000 ELO players before? Yeah, you know, it happens. But, like, realistically, in a best 2 out of 3, I mean, even though Kelthor Sand is not that great right now, I think it's going to be difficult for Necron MK to win this. I think the matchup is really cool, really entertaining. I think he's going to have a fair shot at it. But I do believe that when there's this much of a gap in ELO, that play skill very well might come into play. And, you know, I mean, this is a game where you do get punished for your mistakes. You can't get away with doing too many things wrong. And I just feel that this could be a good demo of how the better player will probably win, even if his deck is not necessarily amazing in the matchup.
Are you?
Tyrion, I think, is having a little fun at his LAN party at the moment. I'll try to talk for him until he's ready.
Sorry, I'm here. I have people that are asking me what our team name should be for the upcoming League of Legends ARAM tournament, of which, of course, I have no idea.
Oh, your team name should be Kinetic 1240. Easy.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
in the meantime, that's absolutely what I would name my team. In the meantime, he's got a couple of interesting options here. He could Lightning Strike the Crusader and then kill it with the Goblin Scout. He could Lightning Strike the Wolf Captain, then pick off the Vanguard. He could do a combination play involving any of his guys plus Sacrificial Altar to have a similar effect. He could just wipe the board with Forbidden Flame, which I don't think is necessary right now. The first thing he's going to do is draw a card, which I think is totally fine given the circumstances. He opts for the 2-for-1 by killing the Wolf Captain and then the Crusader. Going to get free damage on the Vanguard, and then he's going to get to follow up with a guy of his choice, probably the Oil Fan blocking the Crusader. That's exactly what he's going to do. And it's going to be an Angel of Mercy drawn for Alia. That's definitely a card that I think is, once again, criminally underrated. Very good card that's just not really a deck for it right now, because most of the Haven decks do really unfair things and don't get to play fair creatures like Angel of Mercy. But I do nonetheless think that card is very good. And I think this might even be the exact deck that I proposed in the forums, or damn close to it. All of these cards are cards that were in the list that I proposed, and if so, that'll make it easy for me to cast since I know what he's got. And yeah, the Kelthor hand is really not dressed to impress. He's been drawing a lot of clunky stuff this game. Not that the Alia deck is necessarily curving out at blazing speed, but both decks, I think, performing a little bit slower than they typically do.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out about Necron's deck is that he has the wonderful Crusader Sergeant card, which is very hard to play effectively. I think in order to make that card actually cost-effective over a Crusader Commander, you need to have, I think, something like 6 creatures on the board at full health or something. The only deck it would ever make sense in would be Alia, but at the same time, it's so hard to actually make it worthwhile. And yet here are 3 of them in his hand right now. That is way too heavy of a hand not at all what he's looking for. But he does have Eleanor, which does sort of synergize with that whole thing. But yeah, very interesting card choices. Experienced players would never use that card, I don't think, unless they were just trying to go for something fun.
Yeah, I mean, I suggested Eleanor in my original list. I'm pretty sure that he is in fact copying my exact list. Yeah, that makes it interesting. Eleanor here it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like Eleanor a lot, actually, as sort of another undervalued card that is one of those expensive, really easily destroyed ones. But it's the Crusader Sergeants that are very questionable, I think. Crusader Commanders just have such amazing stats on their own that I think you should always use Commanders over Sergeants.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the seven butt is going to be pretty important here. We'll see what happens. It's pretty close, 12 to 11 here. They both have exactly 4 cards in hand, and they both have relevant cards in hand as well. Double Crusher, as always, is a little bit annoying. There's a Wandering Bard. See if he wants to dig anything up here. Is he going to play 2 Sergeants? Yes, he is. So stuff getting big all around. All of a sudden, Crusher gets picked off for free. Big damage there to the Vulture Rider as well. That double Sergeant turn was pretty huge and probably unexpected for the Kelthor player as well. And it's going to leave him with very, very little. Alter not super helpful here. Goblin Scout, awesome card at the wrong time. Firebolt not great here. War Tent, I guess, is going to be good. That's going to let him pick off Eleanor for free. That's probably the best use I can see. Alternatively, he could play the War Tent on the Crusher, and then he could Firebolt the Crusader and kill it that way. But it doesn't look like anything super amazing. Either way, it's just going to pick off 1 card, and I like the hand of the Aliyah player a little bit better here. Oh, hey guys, I've just been informed that we broke 100 viewers. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Duel of Champions Team League. I'm Enlightened Owl, co-casting with Tyrion. The league is presented by 1240 player, Kinetic 42. And here we are seeing he did go for the War Tent play. Well, I mean, he's going to War Tent either way. But he opted to pick off the Crusader as opposed to Eleanor, which... Well, now he's going to get Eleanor this way as well. So it's interesting. He's going to forsake damaging Aliyah in exchange for picking off 2 guys, which is fine. But he's going to take some heavy damage this turn. There's another Crusader in hand, and there's 5 unblocked damage already on the board, plus whatever Aliyah decides to do. But he's certainly respecting the power of Eleanor here, managing to pick that card off before it gets too out of hand. Sunburst is interesting. He could go for the Sunburst play, hurt the Shredder, kill the Vulture Rider. He draws a card here. Unfortunately, he draws Tithe Collector, which is not super helpful. But that was a decent Sunburst, and yeah, here comes a big, big push. That's a 6-power Wolf Captain that we're looking at. A 2-power Tithe Collector. Goblin Scout gets picked off, and there's an attack for 3, so very bursty turn there for Aliyah.
Yeah, and it's made even more interesting by the bad hand. I mean, I think it's at least bad in my opinion that Kelthor has. The Harpy, not what he wants to see right now. War Elephant is okay, but Sacrificial Altar, that's really, really not helpful right now. Other than it gets rid of that 6 damage Wolf Captain. But, I mean, ideally that would rather be something like a Tainted Orc or a Fireball. Anything like that would be super helpful right now. But, yeah, we'll see. He might even take out a Sergeant instead. Yeah, he does.
As clunky as the Crusaders are, I mean, we're seeing here how good they are in multiples. They're really giving the Kelthor deck fits. I mean, I feel a little bit biased now that I know what the deck is kind of toward the Aliyah deck, because like I said, I built it. This is my exact deck list. So I mean, yeah, no, I'm proud of myself as to how it's playing out, because I mean, hey, I designed this, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, no, it's interesting to actually watch somebody else play it, because I mean, the deck is cool. It's just like, I would only play this deck for funsies, whereas this is a big tournament against a 1600 player, and the deck's actually playing out pretty well. He can pick off the Crusher for free here, because Aniel, or however you pronounce the Angel, is going to heal the damage on the guy, and then he's going to follow up with a Radiant Glory, and I don't see any out for Kelthor. Forbidden Flame was already used, and even if he had some way to get it back, it's been exiled with Nethermancer, so I think Kelthor's in some trouble. Orc is a good card.
And
Yeah,
he just surrenders. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Impressive showing from an odd deck.
Now, I've got some good news and I've got some bad
yeah.
news, guys. The bad news is this is the only replay that was turned in of that best of 3. With that being said, I do know who the winner of it was. So, do you guys want to know what happened?
Oh yeah, did Alia win?
No. Well, yeah, Necron ended up winning that best of 3, and he actually won that group. So.
Yeah, there you go. The Alia deck actually won the whole thing. I mean, I was joking with the whole masterfully built thing, but I really did build that deck. I really do think it's good. Alia is. I mean, I build fair decks. That's the problem. I build Kelthor. I build Adder Malik. I build Alia. Is it ever going to be able to be like Combo Ama or going to be like Cassandra that Fortune kills you on turn 3 or like Sandalphon Lock? No way. But if you're looking for a fair deck and a deck that will absolutely perform in a Swiss, look into it. I have the deck posted on mm.king if you guys want to check it out. But anyhow, moving on from that, I don't actually know what our next match is. Kinetic has not informed me.
Well, we are going to check out Gazelle and Demiria.
There you go. Gazelle and Demiria. One thing that I want to remind you guys is that we are doing another drawing at about 4 o'clock, roughly. It's going to be for a promo code that's going to get you a 5 Towers pack and a Forgotten Wars pack. All you have to do is, what is the phrase they have to say in the chat?
I'm going to change the phrase, so it'll be a different phrase, but yeah. I'll release that in about 5 minutes.
Alright, so after this game/games...
Oh, this is I'm sorry, Gazelle and Zardock.
Oh, Gazelle and Zardock. Alright, we're going to watch that. And then after that, he's going to tell you guys another phrase to say that's going to enter you automatically into the drawing, and somebody else is going to win some free stuff. In the meantime, we will move on to a match that I'm excited about, Gazelle and Zardock. We have a Skirmisher in play and a Harpy in play. Looks like a relatively creature-heavy build of Gazelle. It's Maz Sparrow again. We saw him play earlier. It's Maz Sparrow now at 1547 ELO, which is quite high, against Jemmy 000 at 1255, which is fine, but it's not 1547. And this matchup's interesting. Looks like a relatively standard build of Zardock, but he's got Pow Deathseeker, which is not in all the builds, so I guess he's a little bit more aggressive than the super controlling old-fashioned Zardock that I know really good players such as Liquid Brunt are big advocates of. Again, it's hard to bet against a 1550 player when he's against a 1250 player, but I mean, we just saw an 1100 player beat a 1600 player, so I mean, anything can happen. How much experience do you have with Zardock, Tyrion?
Personally, I don't even have Zardock in my collection, but I definitely know how he works, and I'm not entirely sure what this build is. I know we have some people in chat like Gustav that play Zardock a lot, but basically it has a similar mentality to any other Might of Nature-based deck where you keep the board clear early, get big creatures out there like Tainted Orcs or Blaskull Crushers, or even something bigger than that, if you want to, and get Might of Nature in play until those guys slowly become unkillable to your opponents. Now, I would say that Dark Gazelle seems like an unfavorable matchup for Zardock unless he has Ward Against Darkness, but we'll see. I don't actually have any experience in Dark Gazelle versus Zardock because Zardock has been so uncommon since Dark Gazelle really became popular.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even necessarily the reason. I mean, even Dark Gazelle is not necessarily a deck that I see a lot of. Granted, I see more of it than I see Zardock, but I mean, still not a ton. I think the issue is more that it's fallen off. It's in Tier 2 right now. Zardock was at one point one of the top, I'll say 5 decks or so in the metagame. It was Tier 1 for sure, and now it's not. So, I mean, we'll see how this plays out. That Jin Mentor, which is a card that I praised earlier, it looks pretty good here, too. There is no way for that Zardock, despite his 5 power between 2 guys, to get through that Mentor. And instead, he's just going to play a guy, spread out his forces a little bit, activate his event, and call it good. That Jin is probably very happy here to take a free kill on the Harpy. He could go for Curse of the Netherworld here, but it really doesn't do anything. It kills a creature that he can already kill anyway. and it also kills the Brute. But that's what he's going to do. He's going to pick off 2 guys, and he's going to block the Black Skull Crusher, so a very defensive play for Maz Sparrow. And this is a very aggressive Zardock deck. He's got Dark Assassin and Pow Deathseeker, which are 2 cards that were definitely not seen in the old builds of Zardock. But it looks like an aggressive creature-based build, and Maz Sparrow, I think, is probably favored in that case. We saw him beat Ishuma earlier. His deck seems pretty well equipped to handle these very, very creature-based decks. Granted, Ishuma does not have access to Black Skull Crusher, so if there's going to be one card that's going to be an issue for him, that's probably it. Ghazal is all the way down to 5. Who do you think Ghazal is favored in this matchup, correct?
You know, we're so far into the game just because Ghazal's already down to 5 health, and you know, normally I would think so, but like Zardock here is sort of building similar to what I've seen a really original build, which is he plays POW instead of Earth's Grasp, which I always sort of question that. I would ask him why he chose to do that when every other deck out there uses POW. You can just play an Earth's Grasp and make so many cards in their decks suddenly become totally dead. But he's like, I don't know, I just like him. And right here in this instance, when you're playing against a dark magic hero like Ghazal, you can play that POW, and it's not going to be played against you on the next turn, and there's nothing Ghazal can really do about it. It's sort of one of those decks where the fewer creatures you play, sometimes the better off you are. Now, as we saw earlier, Maz Sparrow has a lot of big creatures like that Jin Mentor, so that makes it even more problematic to try to not play creatures. But even still, I think POW are really good here, and the fact that now Ghazal's down to 2 health, looking pretty good for Zardock. We'll have to see exactly
See what he drew?
if Ghazal can draw into something good, then there's a chance.
Well, he drew Time Jump. I'm not sure if that's something good or something interesting or somewhere in between. I'm going to go with interesting. I don't know that is... I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just don't know that's the card that he needs right now at this moment. He's going to... Yeah, he's going to pick off the Harpy. Going to presumably move the Golem. He might keep it where it is. He's going to move it into a free space. Is he going to maybe Puppet Master? Yeah, he's just going to take the guy. Oh, interesting that he puts it there. I guess he's actually trying to race, which... That's pretty risky. I mean, doesn't Sunburst end the game right here? No, it's at Spell Resist, so... Alright, he gets to keep playing. I do agree. I mean, I like Earth's Grasp in Zardock a little bit better, just in general. But in this matchup, obviously the POW is significantly better than the Earth's Grasp would be. The only way the Grasp would matter at all is if there is Shadow Image from Maz Sparrow, which we have not seen in this match or in the previous match in which he played 2 games against Shuma.
Yeah, and looking at what Zardock has, there's actually... Yeah, like, if he could win this turn, it would be perfect. If he had a 3rd Earthquake, he could win. But yeah, playing that actually kind of good for him, because when it gets Puppet Mastered, it then takes the might of his opponent, right? Like, it would take Ghazal's might, so it would only be 4/4/7. Yeah. So it's actually an interesting play there, where he's actually benefiting more.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like a probably useless Dispel effect in the hand for Ghazal. I mean, he'll probably... I mean, at least he's playing fair in game 1, not knowing what his opponent has. And I mean, there is probably the Might of Nature and the Light of Tomorrow in the Zardock deck, but if they are there, not only is he 2 magic away from casting them, but they just aren't going to be relevant in this game. I almost wonder if Zardock is playing those cards. He probably still is. It's just like, it's so hard to get to 4 magic when he's got such a might investment. We see him play. He has a 4 might requirement creature, a 5 might requirement creature, and a creature that wants as much might as you can possibly get. So that makes it interesting. I mean, as always, I mean, the Crusher, Crusher's just good against spell decks in general, but specifically, it's really, really strong against dark magic decks. We just saw Favorite Spell, and nearly every single spell that we saw was, in fact, a dark magic spell. So that really gives you an idea of how much of an issue this Crusher is. What Maz Sparrow is doing is probably the right way to deal with it, which is basically just to ignore the Crusher and try to play around it as opposed to try to actually beat it. And this matchup in general, I feel pretty interesting. There's another unusual card. Wow, he is hellbent on aggro. Blood Shaman Hut.
Earthquake, Sunburst, Zardock ability, and that's a game, right?
Yeah, he's gonna burst him down out of nowhere just like that. He's gonna crush him with Crusher. Yeah. All right. So
Yeah. Again, yeah, I think Zardock's ability. Sorry.
Yeah, in case you guys know those numbers in the corner, basically the lower the elo, the better you do in this tournament, apparently. We just saw an 1100 player knock off a 1600 player, and we just saw a 1200 player knock off Maz Sparrow. Now, granted...
It's almost like ELO doesn't matter or something. I mean, who would have thought that?
Oh, boy.
So the lower elo you are, the better you do. Is that why Kinetic had to ban himself from the tournament?
Oh, yeah, because Kinetic would have won for sure.
I mean, let's be fair. I mean, I would have won, yeah, it's true. I mean, I really don't want to be a draft captain. I've got too much to do with running the league.
I do believe we're about to see Game 2 of the same matchup, even though Kinetic's been flicking out and only giving us one game at a time.
Well, sometimes I only get one replay. Sometimes I get all the replays. It depends on what the player says.
In case you guys are wondering, since Kinetic is defending himself in the background, it is in fact entirely his fault. You should email the page.
They can hear me too.
That's very interesting. Jemmy000, who won the last game, actually opted to switch decks. He goes to Demiria, and he's got a weird Demiria. I saw Chaos Imp in play. Maz Sparrow, who lost, opted to stay with the same deck. So yeah, things are weird like that sometimes. But I think we are about to see a card that I don't believe I've seen. Oh, we didn't play it, but that I don't believe I've ever seen Demiria cast before in Chaos Imp. That is an interesting choice. That card's fine. I don't think it belongs in Demiria.
Yeah, and one thing about the hero switch is in a format like this, if you win a game, a natural reaction is to think that your opponent will switch his hero. So perhaps Jemmy was thinking that Maz Sparrow would change his deck, so he thought Demiria would be a good option for the new deck he would have to face. Or maybe he just wanted to mix it up.
Yep.
Well, the other deck Maz has was Sandalphon. We've seen him play the Sandalphon Rush, so Demiria would have been a good counter against that.
Yeah, he very well might have just been thinking ahead. It just didn't work out. Maz Sparrow decided to stay with what he had. And Maz Sparrow's curve has been incredible. He has a three resources play. He skillfully places unique creature on the curve turn on turn 4. And then he follows up with a Jin Mentor. That guy's only got a 3 might requirement. He's really good, I'm telling you. So one hell of a curve for Maz Sparrow so far. Jemmy did not have that Magic Peddler before, so he got a nice draw himself by gaining access to the Forbidden Flame. But nonetheless, quite the curve. Coming out fast for Maz Sparrow. He's got Nurse Spellweaver in hand. What a grip. And he's going to waste Soul Reaver here just on the Magic Peddler just to get in more damage. So he's going to crack in there for 5. Demiria already down to 10. And yeah, he's going to activate Night of the Rising Moon. Ironically, he's got Memory Lapse, so that's a card that he's going to be able to recur over and over again and abuse with Night of the Rising Moon. I love that little synergy here, and I think Demiria is going to be forced to Forbidden Flame right now.
Yeah, that Soul Reaver on the Magic Peddler just shows you exactly how aggressive Maz Sparrow wants to be in this matchup. I mean... Normally that seems like a pretty bad trade. You're trading 4 resource card for a 2 resource card that's only a 1/0/1. But he knew he had to get that damage in before Forbidden Flame came out, so instead of wasting his resources putting more creatures on the board, he just wanted to get his damage through before the inevitable board clear.
Another Jin Mentor comes down. That's going to bump the magic up for Maz Sparrow to 9. That is quite a bit of magical prowess. Down comes Hellfire Maniac, absolutely forcing that Jin to attack. Chaos Imp comes down as well, which I can see why that would be good in this matchup, but in this particular instance, looking at the hands, it doesn't have a huge impact. There is an attack for 1, bringing Demiria down to 9. There could be a follow-up here with another Wizard Tutor, or he could opt to draw a card. And he does opt to draw a card. It's a 3rd Wizard Tutor, so 3 in hand, 1 in play. We know that he's got the full play set of them, one of which is the nifty Christmas edition. Hellfire Bloater comes down, not super exciting. There is a Shinoshi in hand for Demiria, which is the very relevant Dark Ward, but he opted not to play that this turn for whatever reason, even though he did have the resources to do so. I wonder what his thought process was as to not playing Shinoshi there. I personally would have slammed that down.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Ward, unless he's already seen the hand of Maz Sparrow, which I don't think he has, maybe he just didn't want the Void Ripple. If he knows Void Ripple is in the hand of Maz Sparrow, that's a reason not to play the Shinoshi. But otherwise, yeah, I don't really understand that logic there. But regardless, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things happening in the hand of Jimmy right now. With Tower of the Smith, he has good solid attack creatures. He has board clears still with Bloater as well as Doombringer for the full board clear. He has a lot of tools in his hand, but at the same time, it's pretty fascinating to me that 14 damage already been dealt to Demiria. Curse of the Netherworld proving to be one of the greatest counters to the Hellfire Maniac, which is one of the biggest problem cards for a lot of other decks. And yeah, this is way more one-sided than I would have thought.
Well, there's a lucky event flip there. He gets the Week of the Dead there, and this is going to allow the Doombringer play that he otherwise didn't have access to. This is going to be a 3-for-1. He's going to be able to follow that up by drawing a card and playing a Maniac. Whoa! He uses the Demiria ability. I don't love that play at all. I mean, it's awesome to remove a card for free, but I definitely think he wants to put something on board. I guess he was afraid of a Puppet Master effect. I think he's really trying to set up for a Shinoshi victory. Looks like it's going to be Maz Sparrow just developing the board, dropping 3 guys, and challenging Jemmy if he can to clear it again. He's got 2 pots and a Maniac, which might be his plan here. He could also drop Shinoshi, draw a card, and play a guy. First thing he does correctly is to draw a card. He could here go for double pot and Insect Swarm, and that wouldn't even clear the board because all the guys survive Insect Swarm on their own. So we'll see what he wants to do. I think if I'm him here, I think I play Shinoshi and a guy, probably the Wandering Bard. I think the Dark Ward is really, really relevant, and I think he needs to put a relevant threat down on the board. I guess he might instead. I think he's going to opt to go for Maniac and 2 other supporting guys. Maniac, of course, going to be taking out that Golem for free. Going to go for Revised Tactics. That's going to prevent him from doing another guy. Not only does it cost 2 with the Week of Taxes, but that's the 3rd spell of the turn via Blind Arbiters. And we see an interesting, in the Demiria deck, he's got 4 POW Deathseekers. That is not typically in the deck. So he's certainly playing another unusual build. I guess he loves his POW, even in his control decks. But hey, it worked out for him in Game 1, and Game 2, still up in the air.
Yeah, very much so. Well, the game has to be Ghazal's to lose right now with Nur in hand, Curse of the Netherworld's all over the place. Just Drew. This is looking more and more like Ghazal has it in the bag. So, Demiria using her ability earlier was definitely afraid that this Ghazal was going to be the standard Dark Ghazal with like only 6 creatures or something ridiculous and all the dark spells in the world. So he was hoping to get rid of those Puppet Masters, but unfortunately happened to be the worst play he could have made there.
Oh, he just made an atrocious misplay. He plays the pot after going for Forbidden Flame. Had he done that in the other order, there would not be a Nurse Spellweaver in play, and that, I'm afraid, that was huge. Now he's either going to have to live with the Nur being there, or he's going to have to Insect Swarm, which he just discarded. Yeah, that's terrible. He's going to die now. Now Ghazal is going to Puppet Master the pot and simply kill his opponent with Nurs. So playing his spells in the wrong order is going to cost him the game, and Maz Sparrow going to even this series at 1-1 just like that.
Yeah, crucial misplay. Perhaps it just made a long defeat a little bit shorter, but regardless, I'm still surprised at how one-sided that game was. I usually think of Demiria as someone that has an answer to any style of deck, but right there, wow, 20-0 in health at the end of the game, very surprising to me.
Yeah, that was a beating. I believe we are going to be watching Game 3, I hope, of this, since it is tied at 1-1. Yeah, it'd be pretty awful to see the first two and not see how it ends. So we are going to see Game 3. Remember, they both have the ability to switch decks if they please. Invalid password, because Kinetic is trying to hack into somebody else's account. Oh, boy. He's getting in there. If I'm Maspero, I would stay on Ghazal. I think it's harder for Remy to decide which deck he wants to go with. He won with Zardock, lost on Demiria. Guys, remember, after this game, we are doing that second raffle. In order to be entered in, you have to say a special phrase in the chat, and that special phrase is Kitten Warrior OP, as in overpowered. That is Kitten Warrior OP, if you want to be in the raffle. Say that in the chat, we'll enter your name, and we'll do a drawing to see who wins some nifty stuff. But back to the game, it's going to be Jemmy switching back to the deck that won him the first game in Zardock. And it is going to be Maspero playing a third game in a row, staying with trusted Ghazal. His hand looks pretty reasonable to me. We saw Game 1, we saw Game 2. Tyrion, prediction, who wins Game 3?
I'm going to go with Maspero again. I think that the win for Zardock in Game 1, while I'm not going to say it was completely luck-based, I think that Ghazal has all the tools needed, if she can draw them in the right order, to completely stall out the Zardock deck when it's in its prime in the mid-game. Some people pointed out this is a rush-style Zardock, which is sort of not really logical. Zardock is, by its own nature, a very slow-playing deck, so if Ghazal can make it into the mid-game and start taking advantage and drawing Puppet Masters when she needs them, I think it's going to go her way.
Well, Zardock is going to get some free kills here. I don't like that play. Yeah, I mean, I get why he did that, but I don't love that. I think that could have been done differently. I think one play that he could have made is use the Goblin Scout to shoot the dude in the front, make it move, and then pick it off with the Shredder. I mean, there's a couple ways. What he did wasn't awful. It was a 2-for-2, and then he got the free kill up top. So I mean, it wasn't atrocious, but I think trying to play the attrition game against Ghazal in general is just a bad idea. I think that he would be safer playing in a more aggressive way. I also don't like the Jhin Mentor placement there from Maspero. I don't see why you wouldn't stick it in front of the guy up top as opposed to the guy on bottom. I guess he's worried about it taking a free shot from the shooter and then having something come down in front of it. But I mean, I think that the matchup is so extremely defensive for Maspero that the most important thing is just preventing damage. He's got enough gas in his hand to where it doesn't really matter if his Jhin Mentor takes a free shot. He can still play Curse of the Netherworld, Puppet Master, whatever. So I think basically he took an extra point of damage there where he didn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the first misplay that we've seen, but I don't think it is game-breaking by any means, but certainly
No.
If you want to win against a good opponent, like 1547 is very, very hard to attain. So if you want to win against someone who has proven themselves to be a very skilled player, you can't make that many mistakes, even small
You know
ones.
how high 1547 is? It's 300 points higher than Kinetic right now.
Oh man. Just it's never ending.
The double Blood Shaman Hunter is that Hut Altar. That's Hut Altar. Yeah, I can see from on the bottom left-hand side of the card there's slight differences. So yeah, that is 1 Blood Shaman Hut, 1 Sacrificial Altar, a Sunburst, 2 Quick Attack guys, and 3 normal guys, one of which is even a shooter. Interesting hand there for Zardock. Pretty gassy. I mean, he's got, to be fair, Zardock has a hell of a lot more cards in his grip than his Ghazal opponent does right now. However, Ghazal is that far ahead on board. I don't love that play at all.
Yeah, I think Sacrificial Altar, when you're behind a board like that, is not so good.
Yeah, no, I mean, at worst, he's taking at least 4 this turn. What if it's like 4 plus Puppet Master plus attack? I think that's exactly what it's going to be, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he's going to draw a card, crack for 4, Puppet Master the Vulture Rider, crack for 3 more, leave his opponent at 3. Jemmy here, despite putting up a good fight and having that one good game, I think is now showing why he's 1255 and simply, getting outplayed by a higher elo opponent right now.
Yeah, I don't see, with only 8 resources, he can't answer for every single lane right now. He can block them for now, sure, but there's nothing he can do if Maz Sparrow has the Soul Reaver, which we know he does. Plus, he can just pull Puppet Master out of his own graveyard. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much over, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. That looks like ball game to me. If it is not ball game, I will say something interesting when it comes up, but I'm pretty sure this is it. I'm going to take the opportunity to remind everybody, like I said at the beginning of the game, are doing that raffle after this game. No, not after this game. There's going to be one more game and then the raffle. At the end of the broadcast, we're going to do it. In order to enter the raffle, which is going to get you an opportunity to win a 5 Towers pack and a Forgotten Wars pack, all you have to do is, in the chat, say, Kitten Warrior OP, all one word. Kitten Warrior, like the card, OP, overpowered. And that'll get you into the raffle. Maz Sparrow going to wrap this one up, take the 2-1 series win. I believe we have just one more game for you during this broadcast, and then we're going to do the raffle and move on with life, which in my case means going to work all night. Yeah. Life is hard, kids. Don't grow up. Paying bills is rough.
I can confirm.
I don't actually
growing
know
up sucks.
What's our final game, Kinetic? Help us out, my behind-the-scenes friend.
Well, I decided we haven't seen enough Kelthor yet, so we need one more Kelthor game. But,
definitely not.
That being said, I did decide we haven't seen this hero yet in the round of 64, and I figured we might as well see him. But I'm going to keep it a little bit of a surprise, so we're going to get into the game now.
Crag Hack is my prediction. Let's see what we get here. Surprised we haven't seen more Crag than we have. That deck has really fallen off in popularity. Here is Kelthor against... That's kind of like Crag Hack. Here is Morgan, played by the extremely competent Diplomate, one of the best Haven players around, former 1600 player, multiple-time jackpot tournament winner, very, very good pilot. His opponent, as we mentioned, is playing Kelthor. He is Dragoya, not a player that I'm familiar with, but he's 1307, which is respectable. And it looks like his build is relatively standard. He's got Fireball, which is a controversial card. Some people like it, some people don't. He's going to opt for Pow Deathseeker here, picking off the ranged guard creature from Morgan, getting in there for 2. Meanwhile, looking into Morgan's hand, he's got double Geyser, foil Light of Tomorrow, because he's rich and he's a show-off. And yeah, he's got a bunch of guys, so this is going to be an interesting match. I don't see Morgan enough to really know who would be favored here. I mean, again, it's hard not to favor the 1500 player, and by that I mean the 1600 player, because Diplomate has been there. But yeah, Tyrion, what is your insight on this matchup, my friend?
I personally find this to be in Morgan's favor, not necessarily because of the deck, because there are lots of ways to build Morgan, but there was something going on during the Millennium Open or the Millennium Cup, whatever that tournament was. There were actually like a lot of Morgans submitted, a surprising amount of Morgans, and I think that like a lot of professional players or skilled players thought that there was something here that people were just sort of missing, and people have been trying to find that for a while, and I really haven't seen anyone explore it, but. I mean, with Light of Tomorrow, all the geysers here, it's basically, essentially just another Alia-type deck where you have a hero with decent creatures and spells. Yeah, exactly. Creatures and spells trying to go against Kelthor's creatures and spells, which are generally superior. Because of their high health and also BS Crushers just being too godly. But, Diplomat, I just have a strong confidence that he's found something here that will work. And maybe it's just me being hopeful, but I think this is going to go in Morgan's favor.
Yeah, I mean, Diplomat is one of those players, even though I saw him lose last week when I was casting him, Diplomat is a player that I have an unintentional bias towards. He's really, really good, and it's just hard to bet against him. Even right now, I mean, he makes a play that I consider questionable. I mean, why would you put it there instead of blocking the other guy? He takes more damage this way, but I think he knows what he's doing, and I'm very confident he'll make the right play. Dragoya on the other side, developing his board really well, has 4 creatures against the 1 of his opponent. We're looking at 20-11 right now. Morgan, of course, even though he's far away from his unique ability, does have the ability to gain life, but more importantly, he's holding 4 Geyser right now, and this situation is a good example as to why a lot of people who play Geyser only play maybe 2 or 3 of them. Looking at the board, Geyser is really not very good right now, and he's got 4 of them in his hand. He's going to drop Eleanor here, which that's a card that I never thought I would cast in multiple matches in one day for multiple players, but it looks like Eleanor making a little bit of a popularity comeback. Nonetheless, this is going to be a pretty bad blowout that Diplomat is not going to be a fan of. There's going to be a Song of the Lost Fireball combo here, followed by an attack, and it's going to be pretty ugly. I don't think he necessarily did that the right way. I think he could have blown out creatures a little bit better had he moved them to different positions. For example, he could have killed the Crusader with the Vulture Rider and then killed Eleanor with the Black Skull Shredder, so I think that could have been done a little bit better. But he opted for a more aggressive route, and unfortunately, I mean, Morgan should be able to capitalize on that misplay, but his hand is just so crappy. He's like all spells.
I couldn't think of a worse hand right now than what Diplomat is working with. It's just absolutely god-awful. He has to play a Geyser to kill off... he's going for 2 Geysers to kill off the Vulture Rider. That's probably better than just using 1 to kill off the Harpy.
Pretty atrocious, though.
Yeah, and he decides to, instead of drawing a card, he goes to level his Destiny and goes for the Monsoon. I think either play is probably okay there. I mean, he has such a bad hand, he needs to draw to try to get something better in there, but Monsoon also...
He's going to try to abuse the fourth passive and get back into the game, which I get. I mean, there's certain things he can't play around here. If his opponent has any quick attack creature, which we know he does not, then he would die. His opponent makes a misplay here for sure. Dragoya, not only does... Yeah, that was even worse. He made a misplay before that. What I was going to say was he should have peddlered before drawing a card that thins his deck, and then he has that much of a better chance to draw a quick attack guy. But he screws up in royal fashion by Forbidden Flaming his own board, nothing of his opponent's creature because of Monsoon, and then Eleanor activates and completely heals it. So he wraths his own board with no consequence whatsoever, and all of a sudden, thanks to an absolute gift from Dragoya, who's showing his 1300 skills on that one, yeah, Diplomat is right back in it.
Yeah, I mean that's just a painful miscalculation. He forgot about Monsoon or did his math wrong or something, and wow, that is a complete self-board clear and did absolutely nothing to his opponent's board at the same time. It really couldn't be a worse play.
Lower elo than a player who just made that play. How bad do you feel about yourself?
Listen, we all make mistakes. I'm not going to defend his misplays, but I mean, I'm sure if you streamed at all times, you probably make misplays all the time.
Oh, I'm perfect. You kidding me?
Oh, bullshit.
So here comes the attack with Tower of the Gardener. Obviously, that doesn't kill it outright, but the Infect counters will in turn kill it. And then here is Geyser finishing off the other Brute, and that's going to leave Kelthor with 1 creature against 4, which are, of course, about to be completely healthy again, thanks to the super overpowered, uber broken Eleanor.
No, he can kill Eleanor right now.
Yeah, he can't kill Eleanor right now.
No, he can't. Fucking Monsoon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Eleanor is OP. Are you kidding me? No, I suggested that card for Aaliyah for a reason. I'm telling you, that card's underrated. It's just like, it's another one of those cards where it's good, it just doesn't have a place in the metagame. It's a lot. Oh, that's funny. I was just going to say, like, Angel of Mercy, which is, of course, what he draws. But yeah, it's like Angel of Mercy, it's like Jin Mentor, it's whatever. It's a very powerful card, it just doesn't do unfair things, and right now the metagame is kind of dominated by unfair decks, but Eleanor, once you get it going, she's pretty good. We've seen her be really, really solid in 2 different games today, and I really hope that our viewers at home decide to give that card a shot. I'm not saying build a deck around Eleanor with like 4 Wandering Bards to dig it up, but I mean, if you're playing a creature-based Haven deck other than Cassandra, she might be worth a look.
Yeah, let's not read too much into this game. I mean, if Kelthor had drawn an extra quick attack creature, the game is over. If Kelthor didn't just fail epically twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many things here that make this game bad to
if Kinetic 42 was not playing on Dragoya's account for this game, we might be looking at something different. But because he was, this one's not over yet, but Kelthor's obviously made a pretty big mistake and gave up his advantage. He's still ahead on life, but 2 different unique spells in play for Diplomate. Pretty reasonable hand for Diplomate as well. I think that Kelthor is now going to be hard-pressed to come back in this game. Morgan is now abusing that unique passive ability. Remember, he was down to 2 at one point. He's now all the way back up to 7, now 8. And yeah, it's going to be at least 1 more guy, maybe even 2 more guys this turn. Going to bring him up to 9 and then maybe 10. So, I mean, in general, a tip against Morgan, because this passive is really that good, I really suggest not being uberly aggressive against Morgan. I think you have to be very patient against the deck and try to draw things out. I think it's very difficult to rush it down because Haven in general and the spell schools that he has access to, really good defensive tools, really good ways to ward off aggression. And between that and the passive, I think it's very hard to rush down Morgan. So I think you really need to play with a great deal of patience in this matchup. He's going to be able to get in there for 4 right now, which is fine, but I mean, he only has the 1 card in hand. It's not super useful. His opponent is still at 5, and he's got the ability to gain even more life. Diplomate, presumably, is going to draw a card on his turn, and he's going to get a creature back from the Light of Tomorrow. So after all that, he's going to have 4 cards, and at least 1 or 2 of them are going to be guys. He's already got a creature. Yeah, he's got 3 creatures in hand. He might even draw another one. So, and Wandering Bard is basically 2 creatures because it can dig up another. So the synergy and resilience of the Morgan deck really starting to shine. He's just gonna win the game right now. But I mean, realistically, had we drawn this out a couple more turns, I only think it would have gotten worse for Dragoya. I don't want to harp on him too much. Anytime someone makes an atrocious misplay on screen, I like to make fun of them a little bit. But to be fair, we do all make mistakes. He did give away that game. I wish we did get to see game 2 and 3, but I don't think we have that, do we? Yeah, I guess that might be it. Do we have any other games today, Kinetic?
Nope, that is the last game for tonight.
Oh boy, that was an interesting one to wrap up on. Alrighty, guys, I believe that Kinetic is gonna do the raffle, send it back to us, and then I'll send it back to him to close this thing out, and we'll call it a night. So now we're gonna do the raffle. Kinetic's gonna do the number. Remember, this is your last chance to enter right now. You want to be part of that? Type in Kitten Warrior OP into the chat to be entered into the raffle. Kinetic's going to do the drawing any moment, and here he is.
All right, guys, let's see. We've got we're going to roll the dice right now, and the winner is Moon XNS. So let me show that on screen real quick. Yada yada yada. Moon XNS is the winner of the raffle. You will get momentarily a message from me over Twitch with your DOC code. Why is that over there? I don't know. And we will have that in a moment. I'm going to shoot it back to Enlightened Owl and Tyrion to say their goodbyes, and afterwards I have a few messages for you guys, including the pools for the next round. So, Owl, Tyrion, to you.
Guys, it's Enlightened Owl here. I wanted to say thank you for watching the webcast. It's been the round of 64 for the Duel of Champions Team League. Tyrion, it's been a pleasure casting with you, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Yeah, Enlightened Owl, it's been an awesome experience. You do an amazing job at this, and this tournament's been a lot of fun. Kinetic, thanks for putting it all together. glad I could contribute in some way and be a part of this. So thanks a lot for inviting me to do this. It's been awesome.
Well, you're both welcome, and thank you guys for being on the cast with us. Alright, so now turning to some of the business at hand. First things first, I wanted to announce for Euruxor that the Underdog brackets have been released. You can find them on the forums and elsewhere, so we've got about 100 of you guys on here. But I know what you guys really want to see is the draft pools. There is two things. First, the pools have been released onto the pool sheet. I'm going to drag that onto screen right now, or just a few moments. Let's see. But there's something special about the pools that I'm going to talk to you guys about. There is another pool. There are the 8 pools that are going to be in the round of 32, plus there is a 9th pool. And the reason for that 9th pool is because it's a redemption pool. Basically, we had 3 groups that ended up with 3-way ties that were just barely broken by tiebreakers, or at least 4 groups maybe. And I didn't feel it was really appropriate to get somebody out on just a single game loss. So, the redemption group contains 4 players who just barely didn't make it out of the round of 64, and they have a chance to redeem themselves. The 2 players up top will play each other, and the winner of those will play the winner of the 2 players in the bottom. And the winner of that, so only 1 player is coming out of the redemption group, will randomly be selected for a playoff in against one of the second place players in one of the round of 32 groups. Additionally, any of these 4 players, only one of them though, will be into the draft pools. So, only the winner will have a chance at the draft pools. Additionally, he can play into the round of 16. Or round of 16? Yeah, round of 16. So, we have 1 redemption group. Actually, no, I guess... No, all 4 of these would be part of the draft pool. So, forget me. Since they made it to this round, everybody in this group will be in the draft pool. Plus, the winner will have a possibility of moving on. You can see the groups as they are. I'm going to pull this off screen for a few seconds, talk to you guys about a few other things real quick. This is the last round that you're using the heroes that you started with at the beginning of the tournament. After this round, you will be submitting deck lists. Now, if there are any questions about deck lists, you can shoot me a message over the forums, but the basic idea is your deck list can be anywhere between 59 and 90 cards, including events and hero, and you may have a side deck or a sideboard of exactly 15 cards. Now, it can't be 16 cards, it can't be 14 cards, it must be exactly 15 cards, of which only 4 may be events. So you can't have a side deck that is all events. It has to be at most 4 events and at most 11 other cards, but you can have 15 other cards and no events. That's completely illegal. When you're swapping between side decks, you will be swapping 1 for 1. So some people were asking, can I just put the entire side deck into my deck for the round of 16? And no, you can't. You have to swap 1 for 1. It's just like Magic the Gathering and a few other things. Other than that, I do also want to announce the caster. We're going to have JKK on with Enlightened Owl next week. So we're going to have a new caster on, and he's going to be one of our casters for the Team League as well. So I hope you guys tune in to listen with him. We will have 2 more codes to give away next week, and next week we'll have some replays from the round of 32, so it's getting closer and closer. Any of the players in the round of 32 can be drafted onto a draft team. However, they're still playing for those coveted draft captain positions, which will allow them to choose their own team. So it's going to be very important these next few games to sort of show your stuff. So even if you lose out in the round of 32, you can still be drafted. As such, if the winners... if everybody wants to send me replays, when you're sending replays, try to send all 3 replays of your matches. That way, it's a little bit better to watch a best of 3 than just a best of 1. But if you only have 1 good game, you feel free to just send in that 1 good game. I think that is just about it. If there is anything else, the chat can yell at me. But other than that, I think we're done. We broke over 100 viewers again this week, so it's 2 weeks in a row with over 100 viewers. Let's see who is online right now, since we've got a lot of Duel Champions players. I know that Storm Stomp was running a Russian restream of this. Looks like Pew Gemini is offline. I think he might be offline. And Orc Test might be online as well. So be sure to check out their streams if you'd like. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, Pew Gemini is online. So go ahead and join his stream if you want some more Duel of Champions action. Otherwise, we will see you guys next week at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock CET. And thank you guys for listening. Have a great one.